Hey Jason, it was 35-17 that fourth quarter. Just what did you see during that stretch?
Yeah, I think when you look at the start of that fourth quarter, we turned the ball over twice. We missed some layups. We had some great looks, and they capitalized. Points off the turnovers was extremely high for us tonight. So we got to go back and look at that. We got to take care of the ball, but we put ourselves in position to win that game going into the fourth.
Offensively, you guys had 16 3-pointers tonight. That's the season high. Just what you see that was working for you guys out there from the perimeter?
Well, I thought, just being able to drive the ball, play fast, and I thought the guys did a great job of relocating, finding an open guy. It took 45 of them. It took 45 of them. A lot of them were wide open. So we felt like we left some on the table there tonight. If we could have made a couple more, maybe it's a little bit different going into the fourth quarter.
Going in the middle.
Jason, it was a great first three quarters. You have that last quarter, of course, outscored 35-17. How much did it impact not having players like Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and of course Gafford being on minute restriction?
Yeah, I think in this league you got to play with the guys that you have. And for three quarters, we put ourselves in a position to win that game. Unfortunately, there in the fourth, they dominated the paint. They got the turnovers and they capitalized off our turnovers. And we missed some shots that we normally make. Give them credit; they were good in that fourth quarter. We have to be better, and so it's hard to win in this league, and we just came up short. But a lot of good things, being shorthanded, we never use it as an excuse. You play with the guys that you have, and the guys tonight played their heart out.
Any other questions for Coach? Over here, standing on the right.
Thank you, Coach. Tough night. How's the feeling playing here in Mexico City, being the visitor on the paper, but having the crowd on your side?
Yeah, I think being able to play international basketball is always big, and for the NBA to come to Mexico City is something that they've been doing. The Mavs have been a part of that, and like you said, we did have the crowd, behind us tonight. That fourth quarter, we just couldn't do anything right, so we got to go back and look at that quarter so we can get better.
Fifth row in the center.
Hi, Coach. Could you talk to us about Dilo's leadership, not only scoring-wise, but also we saw him talking to his teammates, both offensive and defensive-wise?
Yeah, when you talk about D'Lo's tonight, he was great on both ends, and you bring up his leadership, just his communication skills. We need that, and he kept us organized, and he benefited from being organized tonight. He was big offensively. He knocked down some shots for us, but just his talk of trying to help the other four out on the floor was huge tonight.
Over here on the right side, sixth row.
Hi, Coach. The truth is that AD often gets injured, so is there any game plan to try to fight against that, and how much affected his absence tonight?
Yeah, when you talk about AD, he's one of the best players in the world. He couldn't play tonight, so we're professionals. We've got other guys that have to pick up the load, and we did that for three quarters tonight. Hopefully AD's back sooner than later, but if he is out, we got to continue to find a way to win.
Mike, right here up front, on one, right here in front.
We talked about the altitude before the game. Just how much of that was a factor, and what you see from Cooper? It seemed like he was breathing a little heavy throughout the game.
Yeah, I think everybody was breathing heavy, even the officials. The altitude is real, and so I thought the guys did a great job. Gafford on the minute restriction, I thought he did a good job in his first couple of minutes. But yeah, I think a lot of guys in that locker room were tired, because they played extremely hard. On both ends, and with the altitude, you should be tired. So, not just Cooper, but everybody.
Last question, left center.
Hola, Coach, buenas noches. ¿Con qué te quedarías de la experiencia de este viaje a la Ciudad de México y qué es lo que contarías llegando a casa de todo lo que pasó aquí?
Hi, Coach. Good evening. So, what would you keep as an experience about all the night tonight, and what would you take home and talk about when you get home about the overall experience tonight?
Yeah, I thought the experience was incredible. You know, take the win-loss out of the equation. The atmosphere, the fans were great for both teams. The venue is a beautiful arena, and so being able to play here is special. It means a lot to us former players to be able to see the game grow. And so again, the altitude is something that we don't really have a lot in the United States, Denver and Utah, but this definitely is home court advantage for the G League team that plays here. But the passion and the fans, the knowledge of the game was on display tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Leo, first of all, you have one hell of a game. You had 31 points, and overall it was a great game for the team through the first 3 quarters. Can you talk us through what happened during that 4th quarter? What changed?
I think just getting an adjustment. To start the game, we were getting adjusted, getting acquainted. Obviously, the altitude, things like that. And then we started to get a flow right before halftime, and then 3rd quarter probably could have been a little better. That carried over to the 4th quarter.
Mike, here in the front.
Season high for you tonight. Just what you see in terms of the offensive end, especially with your shot going down.
Simple as that. Scoring the ball allows me to pass the ball. Simple mentality. They start to fall, open up the game a little bit.
And what did you see, defensively for you guys tonight?
I thought we did a good job. I thought we did a big, solid job. I think they dominated us a little bit on the glass, but other than that, I thought we did a good job. We forced the guys that we wanted to shoot the ball, things like that.
Next question on the left, on 2.
Thank you. Hi, Dilo. Nice game. Gabriel Guerrero from Gabo Deportes. And I was how you are settling with the Mavericks. You will be standing up for Kyrie until he came back. How you settling in, and how you feel with Jason Kidd as your coach?
I think just bringing that addition that just helps everybody get going. If that's scoring, if that's passing, just trying to impact winning.
Any other questions? We'll take last one over here on the right side, 6th row in the aisle.
Hi, Dilo. Yesterday we were talking about the learning to share the deal with names like LeBron, like Thompson, like Davis. But today you were the leader in there. So what's the learning for today and how to work after this loss?
I think, we're all pros in the NBA, anybody's game, anybody's night. If shots are falling, it could be your night. It was just my night.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Cooper. Gabriel Guerrero from Gabo Deportes. How you feel with all this experience in Mexico City, and how you feel get the energy of the people that was all night very energetic and supporting both teams?
Yeah, I think the experience was incredible. It's always amazing to, have the game take you to a new place that you've never been before. So, I just had a lot of fun, being able to come out here and see someplace new. And, the crowd was amazing, the fans, everybody that showed up just to support us and support both teams. Everybody was great. So, it was an incredible experience.
Right in the center in the front.
Cooper, Luis from MBM Sports. Of course, you are the youngest player in the league. And scoring hasn't come as easy as many may think, but you're still doing great offensively. I think you are doing really well at rebounding, passing the ball, and you're doing really well at getting to the free throw line and being really, really effective at the free throw line. So what is the message you have for all these people concerned about your playing through this season?
It's, like you said, it's a tough league. As a transition, obviously I haven't, made a lot of shots or been as efficient as I would have wanted to, but I'm gonna just keep trusting the work. That's nothing, I think we should be worried about. I'm not worried about anything. Just gotta keep getting better looks, keep being aggressive, and just trust all the work, and I think it'll be fine.
Mike here, right next.
And Cooper, you guys scored at least 30 points in the first 3 quarters. What did you see that was working during that period, and how did things change during the 4th?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of just picking our spots and trying to attack mismatches. That's something that we talked a lot about. We've kind of talked about actually a lot through all these games so far. Is just really try to pick out mismatches and attack certain defenders. So I thought we did a good job of that. We were patient. We found our sprays, our kickouts, our driving kicks, and we were getting good looks. We weren't hitting every shot. You're never going to, but I thought we were getting good looks.
First, it was a big night for Detroit, scoring in the paint. What'd you see defensively that allowed them to get a lot on the interior tonight?
Yeah, I think they're just a physical team. They're a really physical, hard-working team. They have a lot of guys that just play really, really hard on every possession. And I thought we could have done a better job kind of, holding up the hole and covering the rim a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, they just play really, really hard and really physical. So it's going to be tough to deal with.
Fifth row towards the center.
Hi, Coop. Just a final message to the Mavs fan and both the Mexican fans. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for all the support that we've had. It's incredible to come out here and have this experience. So just, really grateful and blessed for all the support that we've gotten. And yeah.
Known for being like a hotbed of NBA prospects, but we're the top pick. What would you say to Mexican prospects working their way through whatever channels they have available to them to get to the NBA?
Yeah, I think that's something that has been really cool for me to kind of send that message of it doesn't really matter where you're from. Like you said, I mean, there's never been a player from the state of Maine that has grown up and gone into the league. So I think just sending that message of it doesn't really matter where you're from. It just matters if you're going to work hard, dedicate yourself to the right things, and sacrifice a lot of things. But if you make those sacrifices and you work really hard, it doesn't really matter where you're from, or you can kind of just make opportunities for yourself.
Mike, here in this corner.
There's a lot that's been talked about, just the altitude playing here. Just what did that feel like firsthand, and how did it affect you?
Yeah, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough for sure. I mean, I was breathing really, really hard through most of the game, but I think at the end of the day, it's something everybody was dealing with. Every player, I think, definitely felt it a little bit at the start and kind of got used to it as best he could. But it's never easy going into different altitudes, climates, whatever it is. But it's something we all had to deal with out there. So.
And last question, last one over here on the right side, fifth row.
Hi, Group. Yesterday, Dylan mentioned that for the next 2 years, you're going to be like a sponge, just learning and learning. So, you are the first overall pick of the 2025 draft. So, what have you been able to learn from stars like him, like AD, like Clay, and what do you expect of them?
Yeah, I've learned a ton. I've learned so much from those guys, on the court, off the court. A lot about their routines and the way they carry themselves and the way they take care of their bodies and that sort of stuff. So I think, there's just so much you can learn, and that's really all I'm trying to do. And even just being on the court, playing against these guys that are such high-level players, like there's so much you can learn just from being on the court and guarding them or just sharing the court with them. So there's a lot I'm going to learn, and I'm looking forward to every opportunity to just continue to keep getting better.